We like to start our days on Wednesdays, checking in with our resident health and wellness expert. He is my trainer, could be your trainer. He works with professional athletes, regular folks, and celebrities. And he is the author of a book called 21 Days to Ultimate Health and Wellness. I'm talking about Eric Nall, a.k.a. Coach E. Good morning.
Grand Rising, Dominique. Grand Rising, Front Page family. It's a great day to be better. Well, we're at the beginning of the month of May, and, I like to choose a theme. And, the theme usually centers around, of course, health and wellness. And, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. That should be a focus. And I believe that the theme for the mental health awareness is you're not alone. And that's an awesome, moniker. But what we should really focus on in that we're not alone is that love wins. So our theme is going to be love wins, in which we find a way to do three things this month and to create momentum to continuously do these things. And first, is self-love. That's directing the energy that we have towards ourselves and towards the fulfillment of our unlimited potential. Giving energy to ourselves every day, embracing ourselves, but also believing that we have the potential to be and do whatever we have chosen to be. The second component is that, love of others. So it's self-love, and then there's the love of others. So not only directing the energy, similar to what we give ourselves, but to the world around us to help uplift others. So seeing others, in a way in which we see ourselves. And the third and final piece is practicing unconditional love. So it's loving, self-love, it's loving others, but what unconditional love is unique, and I think it goes along with this month, is that unconditional love is loving others without judgment. And I believe those three components not only help us become aware of, mental health of others, but it is a solution to help us be in tune with the best part of who we are. It is the energy in which we're birthed with. And with that, I'd like to take those three things and give an example quickly of who represents that, and that's our mothers. We're going to celebrate Mother's Day this weekend, and mothers is an example truly of unconditional love and loving others. We hope that mothers learn to love themselves and choose themselves more, but I'd like to celebrate mothers in that this weekend, and not just this weekend, every day, in celebrating you for the greatness that you give to not only your families, your communities, but the world around you. You're an example of it, and you are the supporting factor to bringing us to the healing places that we have to get to move forward. That's the ultimate moment. As always, you can contact me at ultimatetransformations.com. You can call us at 310-859-5526. Just a quick reminder, Soul Steppers this coming Tuesday, the 11th, 6 a.m. If you're not a member, AARP, just go on to Facebook, private page, LA Soul Steppers, answer a few questions, you become a member, and then you can participate in the free workouts on the second and fourth Tuesday of the month.
That is
Thank
good
you,
stuff.
Dominique.
And Coach E, you're virtual
Yes.
this Saturday for the...
And we're doing Circuit Saturday. Yes. So Circuit Saturday this weekend is virtual. So if you want to participate, shoot us, go to the website, send an email address, and we can send you the link to participate.
Perfect. So, Coach E, I wanted to ask you about a story that I thought you might be able to give some context to. And it's about the NFL draft and the controversy over the fact that no HBCU players were picked in the draft. I know you always talk about how you wish more athletes would go to black colleges, historically black colleges and university, more of our top recruits, so that would give more money and clout to those schools. Is this one reason why they don't? Do you think there's, how does that happen?
Well, you know what? I really feel like it is a power play of the NFL, because all of these young men's dreams is to play in the NFL and the best route to get there. And a lot of times, they don't see that you're going to be able to get there by going to an HBCU. You're going to want to choose to go to Alabama, USC. And I think the NFL really wants to firm that story that that's the only avenue. And especially when you have high-profile players like a Deion Sanders or an Eddie George, who's now at Tennessee State, but coming to these HBCUs, which is going to draw more of the top-tiered, 4- and 5-star athletes. I really think that it's the last-ditch effort of them trying to create a narrative. I do believe that what Deion Sanders and the HBCUs are doing in regards to getting these top players, it's too late for them to stop it. So if you notice, here's the thing about that story that I want everybody to, they didn't draft any HBCU players, but there were several HBCU players signed to free agent contracts immediately following the draft. Now, the player may not have had a chance to walk on stage or get his name called, but they're going to get a chance in the NFL camps to play. So that's also a recognition that there is talent, and they recognize the talent, and they want that talent there. It's just that it's not going to be publicized through the draft. So,
so that kind of, in a way, that kind of affirms your theory. It's like, we'll take your talent, but we're not going to give you any credit for it, so that we don't encourage other players to go to HBCUs. That's
right. But you know what, Dominic? I think it's too late, because when you got people like, Master P's son chooses to play for, I believe, Texas Southern, and you're getting high-profile, African-American people and their children choosing these universities, it's inevitable that there's going to be more of an onslaught of that top talent going there. And they're going to have to start playing these black colleges to prove to these other players that they're not as good as they are, but we are. And, that's what's coming. And that's what Deion Sanders wants. That's what he was talking about when he was complaining about the bowl games and the lack of inclusion of the HBCUs in bowl games. That's right. And he's fighting for that. And they have to recognize it, because he's pulled 7 sponsors, not just for Jackson State, but for the conference that they're in, the SWAC conference. So like Subway, I believe Pepsi, I believe Under Armour. There's some other, but they're huge sponsors. They're not just sponsoring Jackson State, but other schools in that conference. So it's already an influx of money going in, and that's what these universities need to compete. If they have the budget, they can then go out and recruit outside of their city and state. And that's what Deion Sanders is affording for, with the attention he's giving by bringing these huge sponsors in. So, yeah.
Right. And of course, we're so celebrity driven. It seems like, the more, like you said, the Master P's and the Deion Sanders of the world go to HBCUs, eventually that's a draw for television, I would think, and they would want to include those HBCUs, even though they should be anyway. I just find it incredible that in the same year that we're getting all this lip service about, the NFL and their equity and inclusion and Jay-Z, blah, 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 we see this happen where really they should be rolling out the red carpet and having some kind of inclusion program to make extra sure that HBCUs are included. It seems that they're doing just the opposite.
And just the opposite, and I want to, Deshaun Watson is the quarterback for the Houston Texans. Black quarterback, one of the top players in the NFL. He wanted to demand to leave the team and go to another team based on some ownership issues and some things being said. And now he has this case against him, where there's multiple so-called sexual harassment cases, going against him. And what I want to, people to know is that the NFL is so huge, they can create narratives. And I hope that everything, of course, turns out perfectly, in regards to these, beautiful women that are accusing him, but they create the narratives. And what we have to be mindful of is that when these athletes go into the NFL, NBA, they only have a short period of time in which they can make their money. So they'll comply because the window is short. Right now, the average NFL career is 3 years. So they won't get a second contract, the majority of these players. So there's a lot going on, and the NFL knows that, and it's manipulating the money. So if we can at least put money in the HBCUs where they draw the television contract, we can build those institutions to at least compete in all areas, not just football, but academics, facilities, and all those things.
Man, I wish Ed Sanders was here. He'll be here later in the show. I wish he was here to ask you the follow-up question about that story, because I don't feel well informed about it, but I have heard a lot of grumblings about that that go beyond just, as you said, the accusers, who of course deserve, their day of being heard. But it seems like there's much more to that story than meets the eye.
And of course, there's much, to meet the eye. And I just always compare it to how, quarterbacks of, white Brett Favre is a Hall of Fame quarterback. But, he sent pictures of his body parts to lady, and
what's his name? Roethlisberger, whatever his name was,
Roethlisberger,
it's the same, the same double standard that we see in everything, which is problematic. But, it's also easy to just take it at face value because we have seen so many cases of abuse and such inside the NFL. So it's hard to sort it out if you don't have the inside scoop.
Exactly. And I try not to, place judgment, but I just look at how, you're proceeding. So, the legal standpoint, there's a legal component, but then the narrative, there is really not a story being given to the public from Houston as an organization or the NFL. They're just saying, wait and see. So that's the confusing thing for me, and that's why I really like for our young men and women to make sure that when they are in these, places, that they understand that they're creating a narrative about you. So you have to manage who's around you, what you do, how you proceed and move forward, and make sure that the people that are around you are truly in support of you, so that you have some type of reinforcement with controlling your own personal narrative. And that's at every level. That's at high school, college, and professional.
Well, that's good stuff. Coach E, thank you so much. It's always great to talk with you and get ourselves a little smarter. Smarter, fitter, and more positive, more self-love.
Thank you.
Yeah. Peace and be more.
Be more, family. Have a great.
All right. UltimateTransformations.com.